All right, Pro Dumpster Diver back at it again. You guys are like, what's that? That is basically this here. As you can actually clearly see, this is about maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 laptops that I got from a nice little garage sale there. The guy basically said you can take all of them for 40 bucks. So I took them all, and there's a lot of old ones here right now. Some are new. So as you can see, dude, the place is trashed. Yeah. So I took all of them apart right now and trashed all of it. So you guys like, all right, so what'd you get out of it? Okay. So what I got out of it after watching a couple of videos of what to actually make sure you take out of laptops to salvage is first we're going to start out with the screens themselves. Now the screens, as long as the screens work, are highly salvageable because you can actually hook these up to when you flip the back of it. Okay, the back part here is you can actually see this is the LCD board here. This is the board that you can actually connect the ribbon cable to and then hook that up with a control board to a USB and actually make it a second screen for your laptop. I have one, and the crazy part is the store actually sells them for like $70. But if you have an old laptop, to be honest, you can just buy the control board on eBay for like 10 or 20 bucks, right? So how you do it is you have to get the model number and the other numbers there, and you're going to have to make sure that the ribbon cable directly works with it. Now, to be honest, if I wanted to, I could actually just pull this piece out and just leave it as scrap, and I could scrap it, to be honest, but I wouldn't do that because these screens there, depending on especially the newer ones, are actually worth about $20 to about $30. Now, again, somebody would take that, put it into a housing, buy a 3D printer, and actually give it to someone for $100, and now you have a second screen to actually use. Okay, now here you have another one here, which is pretty good. This one is a highly thin one here, and the good part is if I flip it to the back, I'm going to have a QR code here, and then I'll have the special model number, which is the Intelux brand, right? Now, here's the thing. When you store them, you have to be very careful not to scratch them up. So you can put bubble wrap in it or a piece of cardboard, but when you store it, you have to be careful because if you scratch these screens, that's it. There's no protection on this. There's no thin layer where you protect this. Now, this is a smaller screen, but as you can see, there's no protection on this. This goes right to the corner. So if this even drops and that cracks, that's it. This is a very thin layer of plastic and glass between it, as many of you already know that right now. Some of them do have a metal bridge like this one actually does. And if I turn to the back, I'll have the special model number and everything. And this one actually has the LCD board there and the ribbon cables attached to it. When it has ribbon cables attached to it, I like to keep it there so I can quickly hook it up. Now, some of the older models, as you'll actually even see with these ones here, and I'll even show you, actually have the LED pieces hooked up to them with the older connections. Now, ooh, what the hell is that? Oh, it's a foot. The hell out of here. All right. Now, again, these all work. They're all beautiful. Now, some of the newer ones you're actually going to see is I'll actually even show you this one. This came from a nice little one there. Look at the board of this. I haven't seen a board like this ever. Right? Look at the amount of gold on this, right? Like, what would this gold attach to? This gold is basically just sitting there, and it actually says this side up. And guess what? It's got another board. So this actually has two boards. This has a connection board here, and also the LCD board, which is very, very nice. And of course, they have a model number here. There's no QR code, but I do know it's LG Philips, so I can go online and actually look that model number up here. And the good part, again, is I did keep the cable, so I can actually go ahead and directly plug that in, just put them to housing. And they'll usually have plastic over this that'll basically tell you do not touch right now. So again, many of the computers that I did end up picking up, again, the guy was like, he's had them for like 2 years. They've been sitting collecting dust. He doesn't know if they work or not. I'm like, you know what? There's no point. I'm just going to go ahead and scrap them out because, again, you don't want to waste too much time trying to figure out what's wrong with it. It's pointless, especially if you just bought it for a couple bucks. And what I do is every day I save about $10 that I would usually buy coffee with or breakfast, and I keep that and I buy scrap with that, right? So what you're seeing here is 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, and we'll get to this in a minute. We have 15 screens here, right? Now let's just say that 3 of these screens didn't work, right? I still have 12 other screens. And here's the thing. There are some computer guys I already know that fix this stuff up. They say, hey, Do you have an extra? I'm like, absolutely. What I do, and here's what I'll do for the future for you guys right now. Get a piece of paper, and if anything, take a picture of the model number and everything there. And when you go online, it will actually tell you the replacement screen and the size of the screen and what would go with it. And just keep all the model numbers of what you would actually have just on a piece of paper. So I have that piece of paper, and I'm going to add all of these. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and take a picture of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip them over and just actually do like a 10-second video going in, different things like that to make it easier, right? Now, what are these screens worth? To be honest, I could actually use them as security screens for my house and just stick them with double-sided stick tape to a metal board or something like that and use it for security cameras there for the house, for the backyard, birdhouse, everything. Right now, as it stands, because some of them are new, some of them are older, I'm going to give it an average of $15 a piece, which is fair, okay? Because one, they're still salvageable. Two, many of them are still new and they're very good and they can actually be reused, right? So let's just say $15 a piece right now, because if you want a replacement ones, even to use them, you're going to have to pay a little bit more right now. So 15 bucks a piece. These four are going to be 60. This is going to be 60. This is going to be 60. And these three here would actually end up being 45. So 60, 60, and 60, you're looking at 180 bucks. And then plus 45 there, you're looking at about, what, 225? Probably 225. Right? It's a good amount, right? Now, if someone basically says, hey, I'm not going to give you 225, I'll give you half of that. I'll give you 112. I'll go ahead and say, yeah, because guess what? I only paid 40 bucks for all of them, which is still good, right? And guess what? I still have the gold scrap and mylar that I can make out. Right? Always do that. Always look at that, because before I was just taking stuff out of the laptops. I was taking the RAM and throwing them out, not realizing I could actually still use these screens, which are beautiful. All right. Now let's go to the scrap value what we got today. We got a lot of mylar, which came from the keyboards that was in them. For those of you who already know, mylar itself contains silver, and these are actually double-sided. You can cut them, but I wouldn't, to be honest. I would actually just go ahead and put these suckers in a pot and burn them. So I got a nice good amount of mylar right here. It didn't come from all of them. Now, let's get to the gold scrap. We do have a lot of gold, different types of gold scrap to go over. We have Wi-Fi boards, which are here, which are very good. Now, some Wi-Fi boards are small. Some are larger than others, depending on what you have. You also have laptop RAM that is also in this. Now, some laptop RAM is scrap, some isn't. Like for this, you'll find PC2 1 gig. All right, this will be scrap. Nobody's really using this now. However, I'll have PC3 4 gig. All right, these will go ahead and sell out as usual. And then always double, yep, PC3 4 gig right now. Okay, so we have that. Now, many laptops that I did scrap out had two of them in it, like this PC3 2 gig. This won't have that in it. Let's see what we got here. 1 gig. There's a lot of RAM I have here. This is, I see 2 gig, but I don't see what type it is right now. Right, and sometimes you won't know. You always have to double check, because you don't want to throw a scrap piece out that you end up finding out, hey, that's not scrap. Okay, so always double check it. 512 is scrap there. Okay, this is going to end up being scrap. All right, always double check it. Again, scrap RAM sells. I don't know if any of you guys actually know that, but don't ever let somebody tell you, oh, nobody's interested in that scrap RAM. That's BS. Okay, stop letting guys online lie to you, because refineries will take that, especially when you have RAM, PC2 gig. Okay, and again, always look through your stuff. Now these are mouse boards, but as you can see, it does contain a good amount of gold on it. Again, especially when you get it for free, don't argue with stuff like that there. This doesn't have anything on it, but it's possibly scrap right now, which is pretty good. So we're just looking through those there. We got another piece here, which this is Alpada PC3 2 gig. All right. Again, it's okay. I'm never going to argue with it. Now, another piece is you're going to end up having these chips that were on the board, which are also still very good. I do like to keep them right now. You never know when they come in handy. But again, it's extra gold that you see. A lot of people just take the CPU and leave it. I was like, don't do that. Because again, these boys contain gold on them. Even the pins, if you turn it to the side, you can see the pins there. That's a good amount of gold. So stop just throwing money out, okay? Also, the mouse pads on them, look at that. This contains a good amount of gold on it right now, okay? That sucker's gonna go right inside, okay? These ribbon cables that you see, guess what? a good amount of gold on them as well. But again, you guys throw it out. This is just extra gold to top it. So I always say have a level of redundancy, which is usually 10%. But look, mouse pads right here. Good amount of gold on it with Wi-Fi boards there. All right, another Wi-Fi board there. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask a question. Do you think the amount of gold in electronics is necessary, or sometimes it's an excessive amount? I believe it's an excessive amount. I don't argue with it because I'm the guy making money off of it. But at the same time, it's like, damn, you guys really had to spend all. That's why certain things are expensive. They're just putting so much gold in everything. All right, and then you have some of the CPUs that were on them. And then these bits and pieces here were actually connected to the Wi-Fi cards. I did snip them because again, it's just basically more for me right now that I actually do like, okay? And you're even gonna have some gold on the ribbon cables themselves. All right, so we do have a good amount of gold here right now, a nice amount of scrap that can sell for $17 a pound. I know that because that's what I sell it for. And then I have some Wi-Fi boards in here. So right now, what do we have? We have a good amount. We've got, how many screens did we say we have? This is 4, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 screens here with mylar, which is silver, and our gold scrap. Beautiful day right now. Hey, you can't argue with 40 bucks, all right? Because even if I go ahead and take those screens and just give them back for 40 bucks, guess what? I made my money back, but on top of that, now I got silver and gold. I'm not arguing at all, especially these nice little pieces here, which will definitely go in. And some of this RAM is actually still good and salvageable right now. And none of them got rain on it. All right, beautiful Intel chips. These are the gold tip, by the way. This is what you call the gold tip. All right, guys, make it happen. Pro Dumpster Diver out.